Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a demo. You don't really to throw you up.
Hi, my moguls. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. You see, today I'm relaxing. I even have my hot water because we're gonna relax today. We're not in a rush, so we're chilling. For those of you that are new, please subscribe to the Moguls channel. And for those of you that have been here, you guys know I've been doing a new series that is about healing, because I feel like that's the phase that I'm at, and it's only fair for me to share that with you guys, right? So yeah, today's topic is basically how to forgive yourself. Have you forgiven yourself? You know, have you forgiven yourself for hurting yourself? Have you forgiven yourself for breaking promises to yourself? Have you forgiven yourself for loving when you were not supposed to? Have you forgiven yourself for self-sabotaging when you were not supposed to? Have you forgiven yourself for, I don't know, doing all those wrong things, for cheating? Have you forgiven yourself for breaking promises to yourself? Have you forgiven yourself for anything in general? What is that one thing that you feel like you are struggling to forgive yourself over? Like, even if you try to move on with your life and you try to forget and you try to make other commitments, or you try to distract yourself, what is that one thing that you feel like, Shem, I really can't forget it? Ooh, it's lemon water, guys. Lemon here. Very zesty. Um, because to be honest, I think the more we mature, the more it's very hard for us to forgive ourselves, especially for things that we have no control over, you know. For example, it can be something as simple as, for instance, I had dropped out of varsity. I had my own personal reasons, and it made sense to me why I did that. But obviously, it's not going to make sense to the people that are investing in you, because it low key feels like you betrayed them, you wasted their money. I'm specifically talking about your parents or your guardians or whoever was just responsible for, taking care of my fees at the time, right? And whoever was investing in me, or whoever was actually vouching for me to win, including myself. But you do realize that sometimes you tend to make certain decisions out of desperation. And that is the decision that I made when I went to varsity. I didn't want to take a gap year because I was in a rush to move out of my hometown. Now that I'm grown, I'm like, wow, why did you do that? Mogel, why did you do that? Actually, and not in a way where I'm beating myself up about it. I'm not, but it was a thing. You should have, you should have sat at home. You should have taken a gap year so that you can think, and you can gain momentum of yourself and what you want, what you really want. Because I took the first available course that was not occupied or full, basically, right? I knew nothing about this course, and I'm not gonna mention it. Yeah. So I actually just enrolled in that course, and then I knew it was wrong, because also my mom also was, I think, kind of pressurizing me to just go to school, you don't want to stay home after school. Maybe because as a parent, I see, she was worried about, you're gonna end up like certain kids that, chilling every day, cause starting, or they getting pregnant, or they just don't have a future. Like, she was just afraid of so many things, and I understand, as a parent, you want the best for your child. But I feel like also, if I didn't feel that much pressure regarding me moving and going to varsity, I would have stayed home. Maybe, I don't know, if maybe I would have improved my matric results, probably, you know. So a gap year is not a waste. You can get a job just to be ahead of the game a bit. So yeah, for me, that is that one thing that even people in my life sometimes keep reminding me of. I'm not mad at them because I think they're just trying to understand why. And sometimes you don't know how to explain why. I really don't know how to explain to them. And I don't really think anybody would understand your why. If somebody has made up their mind about your situation or your decision or you in general, there's no convincing them. So most of the time, I really don't want to discuss my plans or why I let some things go or why I made a certain change or I made a drastic decision, because I genuinely do not think the other person will understand. And this is why I think I also struggle in romantic relationships, because I think it's a matter of communication as well. It's very hard to communicate. But nonetheless, that was my situation, right? And there's also a thing, like anybody can go through it, whereby things are basically out of your control. Maybe you were born with like a certain mess weight, and it gets to a point where you have no control over that. Well, you kind of have control over that, but you don't have control over your genes, how your body can look like even if you try to lose weight. And you look at other people and you find yourself blaming yourself, being mad at yourself, not being kinder to yourself because the society is telling you that you're ugly. Now you are struggling to forgive yourself for the way you look. Does that ring a bell? I mean, these are the things that you can control. Your nose. You mad at the world because you have a nose that you have. You know? I don't know, man. Like, have you been in a situation whereby you have been malicious towards somebody, or maybe evil in a way about a certain situation, and you got away with it, right? And then maybe you kind of change as a person for the better, and then you find yourself struggling to forgive yourself for that one specific thing. Why is it that you can't control what you can't reverse rather what you did, right? Or how you treated somebody, but the only way you can do better is forgive yourself, and obviously asking for forgiveness for that person, but you have to forgive yourself first, because the results will always vary in terms of you asking for forgiveness from another person, because they might say no, they don't forgive you. Is your life gonna get destroyed because somebody doesn't want to forgive you? Are you gonna stop living because somebody doesn't want to forgive you? Are you going to write yourself off because somebody doesn't forgive you? So it's very important as an individual to actually forgive yourself for anything, no matter how bizarre, how evil, how I don't know, however you want to put it. It doesn't matter how huge that thing is or how drastic it is. But if you do not forgive yourself for what you can forgive yourself for, it kind of make you stagnant, right? It's hard for you to move on from that bubble. Like, it's hard for you to like pop it and just kind of get some air and you know move on, focus on better things and bigger things, and focus on progress. Because one thing about unforgiveness to yourself or to anybody, it it takes you 10 steps back, basically, right? It takes you 10 steps back. It's not gonna help you in any sense. Instead, as I said, it's gonna just freeze your life. You're just gonna be stagnant in general. While people are moving on with their lives. And it's very easy to blame the society and people and everything else but yourself, because you do not want to move on. You do not want to move on from what happened, or what you did, or what you could have done. What if, what if, what if? It's the same thing as when you have dreams and goals, right? So it's a matter of, it's either you pursue your dream and goal no matter how late or how old you think you are, because it's still going to be 5 years from now, 7, 8 years from now. You're still going to be that age. So it's up to you if you want to achieve that dream, that goal, or you are letting it go. But are you going to forgive yourself for that? It's a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. And I'd really advise anybody and everybody watching these videos that it's very important to forgive yourself. It's not easy. I'm not saying forget. Come on, like, let's be realistic. It's very hard to forget. Forgiving is the easier part. Forgetting, come on. Forgive yourself. It happened. Forgiveness is a misanale acceptance. I'm gonna forgive myself and I'm gonna accept that it happened. But what can I do to make the situation better? What can I do now? You know? Ooh, this washing machine, yeah, rasa. My goodness. But anyways, learn to forgive yourself. Learn to accept your circumstances or accept yourself. Learn to move on from that. I'm not saying be a vile person, be a horrible person, and just be like, oh, I forgive myself. I was, nah. I'm not saying do that. But what I'm saying is be humble also in that, right? Only God knows what happens in your thoughts, what happens when nobody's looking, nobody's watching. And it's very important that before you tell the world that you've forgiven yourself, it's very important that you actually really forgive yourself, because your actions are going to show. Are they going to show? Your progress is going to show. I'm not saying if you're stagnant, it means you didn't forgive yourself or whatever. No. What I mean is, it will show in you as a person, the way you speak, the way you show up, the way you behave, the traits that you have, your characteristics, and all of that. It will show. Or has this person moved on from that situation that has happened? Has this person changed? Has this person grown? Have they matured? You know? So yeah. Whew. Things we do for health reasons, things we do, you know? So I struggle with forgiving myself a lot. And I'm gonna, for me personally, I think it's the actions that I suffer when I'm intoxicated with alcohol, right? And I think for me, that is the biggest part of it. Um, I'm not saying there are other decisions that I would have, like, those are the decisions I can still make. But you need to understand that there are certain things that you do when you're intoxicated, and you cannot take back how people will always see you next to a bottle. you know? So I have started this thing of being an occasional drinker. I think eventually it will actually come to me not drinking at all, because I can take months and months without drinking, right? I can drink like probably twice a year or 3 times a year. So that says a lot of where I am in terms of my relationship with alcohol. So it would get to a point where you would hear stories about yourself the next day. It's either from friends or from your family or from people that you were just hanging around with. Imagine having to forgive yourself over that kind of situation. It's like you don't even want to show your face anymore. You really do not want to show your face anymore. Ekare o itse keng lefatshe bulega ke tsene. Hey. Cuz what do you mean? And then it would be sad because um anything good that came out of that day that you were with those people has vanished because of one incident that you did when you were drunk, you know? So it's just an example that there are certain things that are very cringy that you do out of being under the influence, out of anger, out of feeling rejected, out of so many things. And it's very easy for you to react in a manner that is not normal or that you know for sure that it's not you. In that kind of situation, do you gladly forgive yourself? Do you apologize to the people that maybe you offended when you are in that state? Or you forgive yourself and just move on? Hmm. Hmm. Right. So now, to be honest, I'm learning to forgive myself. I'm really learning to forgive myself for every single thing that, especially for now, I'm forgiving myself over things that I have no control over, because a lot of things that are happening in my life or that are happening to me are things that I mostly don't have control over. So I'm not going to try to explain myself. I'm not going to try to wrestle with life. I'm not going to try to do all those things, right? I'm just going to breathe, take a deep breath, woosah, right? And just live life, man. Just live life. I feel like I have access to so many things and I have to be grateful for that, right? And I show gratitude all the time for the things that I have, even though there are certain things that I do not have yet that I want to have. Get what I'm saying? So, forgiveness is a big part of acceptance and it's a big part of your life improving, your life circumstances, because it starts here. Once you've forgiven yourself, it means you are on a journey of acceptance. And that's when you are your most authentic self. And that's when you can enjoy life again. That's when you can be real to yourself, be real to the people around you. Right? I get it. Okay. All right. So the lesson is forgive yourself first. Forgive yourself first. The second lesson is find a solution in how you can fix that situation. If it's fixable, if it can be controlled, if you can fix it, then fix it. Find a solution. Number 3 is improve your well-being. Improve your well-being. It's either by exercising, by praying, by meditating, whatever it is that can maybe get you closer to your higher self, right? And number 4, just live life. Live life, make progress. Live life. Do not just exist in the world. Most people that are in situations that they do not like are people who haven't forgiven themselves. Are people that that have a victim mentality, are people that are mad at the world, are people that are drowning in their own pride or ego, it could be so many things. But I feel like as a person, deep down, in your heart, what you need to do to improve your life, your own well-being, not according to the society, not according to the pressures of your friends or family or acquaintances, no. But what's in your heart? What do you feel strongly? What do you, as I said at the beginning of the video, what is that one thing that you are struggling to forget no matter how many years come? When you try to sleep after 5 years, it just comes back to your mind. It's a sign that um there's some sort of, there's something. I wouldn't say it's resentment per se, but there is something. Like there's just something there, right? And you need to face it head on and say, I don't know why I'm thinking about this thing so much. And what could be the solution? Why do I feel cringy? It depends how you even feel when you think about it. When you just remember it and be like, oh, I've grown so much from that, then that's something. Like you've moved on. But when you think about it and then there's just that thing that is saying you cringe and you start having this hateful thing, about like you start getting hurt, or you get triggered, you get angry all over again, or you start having some sort of resentment, or you talk to yourself not in such a nice way, you know then there's a problem. That's why there are so many blockages in so many people's lives. It all just starts with forgiveness. All of it. Yonke into. It all starts with forgiveness. My goes, I love you. Can we heal together and forgive ourselves? No matter what. As I said, if you can't control it, it's okay. Breathe.